The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill. A breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
and so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
1, 2, 3, 4. as a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
It's a huge burden lifted financially, and so it allows you to give singular focus to your child. I've never known a hospital that takes care of their patients so thoroughly.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When they told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow. They pretty much have saved us.
It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders, and now your focus is supporting this child.
There is not another hospital like St. Jude. The patient care is unmatchable. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Good morning, America. Good morning to you, liberty lovers and ecclesiastites all across the globe. It is I, your lovable host, Rod, coming to you live this morning. The Hot Rod line is 603-835-3226. Of course, the date today is Tuesday, September number 26 in the year of our Lord 2017. Marching right through September. Although it was a warm one yesterday. It was like middle of summer yesterday. A little bit of humidity, but it was high. I think it was a high of 89 or 90. It may have gotten to 91. Beautiful day. Full sun. Today is going to be, I guess, partly sunny versus mostly cloudy. I don't know the difference weather term-wise. Not as much sun, but no rain, and in the high 80s today. Yeah, I know this is September 26th. I know. I get it. But by the end of this week and next week, we will start to see more fall-like temperatures here in northern New England. But until then, tomorrow is supposed to be another high 80s day, all mostly sunny. I think Thursday it gets down into the high 70s. We escape the 80s, and then in the weekend we hit the 70s mostly to 60s next week. Well, next week is October, so it's kind of expected. This is the time of year where I get the weather kind of teases me on the opposite end as it does in the spring. It kind of teases you on the other end. It kind of see what you're missing, Rod. You're going to miss all this beautiful warm weather, and it's just going to be immediately cold. In the spring, it's like catch a day or two of warm weather, and then back to winter for you. Yeah, so it's kind of sandwiched in. Any case, I will not be talking about the NFL today. I'm sticking to my guns about not talking about the NFL, except to say one thing about Monday Night Football. And I am amazed. This is where, they always say headlines grab people. Yes, they can, and they often do. But headlines don't tell the story. I cannot tell you this morning how many people were upset with Jerry Jones and the Cowboys for kneeling during the national anthem. Well, because most of the headlines say Jerry Jones and Dallas Cowboys lock arms and take a knee. Nobody read the story. It seems like nobody. What happened is evidently Jerry. Well, according to the story, I didn't watch the Monday Night Football game. So I did not see it firsthand, but according to the story, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones, and the entire team locked arms, walked out onto the field, took a knee before the anthem, stood back up, walked back to the sidelines, and stood with their hands over their hearts for the national anthem. Now, I don't know what the hell if that's the case, I don't know what the hell he's trying to, is he trying to placate everybody? But in any case, they walked out into the field, took a knee, and just about the entire stadium erupted in boos because they thought they were going to kneel, especially after Jerry Jones said he was going to fire people if they kneeled during the anthem. So they thought he was going to kneel during the national anthem. Then they stood up and walked back to the sidelines and stood for the national anthem, and the crowd cheered. I don't know what kind of statement he was making. I'm not going to speculate, especially when it comes to Jerry Jones, man. The guy he's a unique individual. He's much like Mark Cuban. He's a very unique individual. And often when you think you've got him figured out, he does or says something totally off the wall, and you realize you don't have him figured out. So I'm not going to speculate on what Jerry Jones was thinking or what type of statement he was trying to make, other than the fact is that evidently he and the entire team stood for the national anthem. Villanueva, is that how you pronounce his name, from Pittsburgh, is now out there apologizing for abandoning his team. Steelers were my favorite football team. They had a long, I think Mr. Rooney is rolling over in his grave over this one. Long tradition. I mean, it's the Steelers, for crying out loud. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Almost the heartland of, steel country, the heart of industrialized America. I mean, really, for them to do, for the coach to jump on this guy who was a former Green Beret, it's kind of like a Marine, once a Green Beret, always a Green Beret, who served in Afghanistan, to have to apologize for standing and abandoning his team, who took a knee in the locker. No, I'm done with the NFL. Done, absolutely done. They're going to have to change a lot to bring me back. And that's not going to happen anytime soon. And the NBA, I mean, you got LeBron James out there now. We'll get into LeBron, Mr. King James. King who? Frankly, I don't think he's all that good. Well, he's not. Well, you couldn't take him. Well, no, because he's taller than me by like a foot. It becomes a little bit more difficult. But I'll tell you one thing. In my heyday, I could have taken LeBron. Yeah, I'm a lot shorter, but I'm faster and a better outside shot. Sure, he can dunk over me every single time. Yeah, big freaking hairy deal. But I'm faster than he is. He's a big, tall, lumbering idiot. I don't think he's all that great, actually. Well, I think there are a lot of people that in the NBA that might be overrated. But we're not gonna speculate. It's not time for the NBA yet. I've stopped watching. I think the mystique and drama of the NBA is gone. Michael Jordan brought it back a little bit. It left when we lost Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. Now, I'm not saying that those two were the only two that brought mystique and magic to the game, but they were in that era. The last era where that was a reality for basketball. And Jordan tried to bring it back a little bit. There were a bunch of, there were a few players that were similar to him. I mean, obviously nowhere as good, but the magic and mystique of the sport was there. And Shaq was a little bit of part of that. I mean, off the court, Shaq is funny as hell. He's just he's a hilarious guy. He's a real person. He may be 7 feet tall, 300 pounds, but he's a real person. After he stopped taking himself so seriously, he became a better basketball player and a better human being in my book. And especially when he was playing for the Celtics. Everybody loved Shaq here. You wouldn't think that Shaq you would have thought that he was a franchise player and never would have left Orlando or any of the teams that he ended up on. But when he fully embraced the Celtics when he was here. And he had he had a home here, and he was often seen. I mean, here you got a 7'3" woman well, guy. He's 7 foot tall, but he put on heels, and he was a 7'3" drag queen getting into Boston taxis and filming themselves doing karaoke. I mean, it was hilarious. The man did not take himself seriously, and Boston loved him for that. But Shaq left the game. He retired, obviously. But now we get these things that are so, they take themselves so seriously. And LeBron James is one of them. I can't stand him. I think he's overrated. I'm not saying he's not good. Of course he's good. But I think he's over. Is he one of the best that's ever played the game? I don't think so. Not on or off the court, to tell you the truth. I don't think he has any class whatsoever. But we'll get into LeBron James if we got time a little bit later. I don't know why people get so enamored with sports stars and actors and musicians. I can't stand most of them. I mean, sure, they entertain me. But I guess I'm just a rare breed. I don't find them to be all of that fantastic off the stage or off the court. I don't follow them. Most of them are self-aggrandizing. They're overrated, pompous, overpaid idiots. And you get an actor, you get these major actors, and if something isn't written for them ahead of time, they can't really speak. And I hate all this false modesty. Look, he's so shy. He gets in front of a camera, in front of, there are hundreds of people behind that camera every single time that the camera starts filming. And you're going to tell me he's shy? Yeah, I mean, they're the people that work on the movie. But there are hundreds of them. I was watching a movie the other day. What was the... Oh, it was the Assassin's Creed movie. Anybody see that movie? Well, yeah, the movie was done, and lo and behold, there was nearly 15 minutes of credits. I kid you not. I looked at the time frame on the where we were in the film when the credits started rolling versus how much time was left. It was almost 15 minutes of credits. I'm like, what? There must be something either in between or at the end. You know how they do. They give you an extra scene somewhere. Sometimes they're getting sneaky with it now. Sometimes they'll put it in the middle of the credits, the end credits, and sometimes they'll put it at the last thing at the end credits. So I'll hang around. I'll check it out. I fast forwarded. I wasn't watching it in regular motion all the way through. Get to the end. There was no extra scene, but there was a wonderful little notice at the end. This movie provided 15,000 jobs. I'm thinking, wow, that's the first time I've seen a movie do that. Now, should I get into the movie a little bit? I mean, I don't know if you've seen it or if you want to see it. It doesn't really matter. I'm not going to, supposedly it's based on the very popular video game Assassin's Creed. Now, I've never played the video game. I've seen commercials for the video game. I didn't really know what it was about. I just thought it was, about assassins. I didn't realize it was kind of interesting. They took a different take on the whole Knights Templar thing, as well as the whole Moorish thing. Evidently, the Moors from the Middle East were the good guys in this movie. And the king and queen of Spain at the time were nothing more than puppets to the Pope. I mean, seriously, it looked like. Remember the episode in Lord of the Rings when the good old king was being possessed. Well, that's what the king and queen look like with the Pope. And that, well, I mean, it was around the Inquisition time is when this place took place, 1492, late 1400s, early 1500s, during the time of the Inquisition. Now, I don't, historically speaking, I don't know anybody who thinks the Catholic Church was a good guy during the Inquisition, but neither was Islam, neither were the Muslims, the Moors. But in any case, it was kind of funny about the whole thing. I just don't. I really don't want to delve into the movie itself, but it was, historically speaking, if you want to just be historically accurate and historically speaking, it was completely wrong. It was all wrong. Just saying. I mean, but they do this with movies all the time. It's just no big deal. And it really, other than, I'm not even sure why I brought it up. But anyway, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to me, your lovable host, Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
(603-835-3226). I don't know. Maybe I hit a. Did I hit a chord or something with the NFL opening monologue, or maybe it was the Assassin's Creed movie. You know, it really even wasn't all that entertaining, to tell you the truth. I mean, it's probably a good hour and a half, hour 45 minutes that I could never get. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't good. It was just there. And I think we got CS calling in to weigh in on it. He's a little upset about the movie and how it portrayed Spaniards. It did portray Spaniards in a bad light too. That's why I said it was antithetical to history. It was very off all the way around on history. Good morning, CS.
The
How you
part
doing?
that burns me. All right, Rod. How are you? Well, the part that really gets my goat is, there were several things really. I mean, first of all, like you said, it portrayed Queen Isabella and King Philip of Spain as pawns and puppets of the Pope, when his history has shown that they were the two of the strongest monarchs in all of Europe. I mean, it was Queen Isabella, as they say in Spain, Reina Isabella, who actually convinced King Philip, hey, you know what, this guy Columbus, he's got something here, you know. I mean, what's the worst that we can do? give them 3 votes and they'll be back in a couple of years. Big deal. Let them go. So she convinced King Philip. They both had very strong wills, and that is documented and proven in history. But yet, the people that made this movie made them look to be painted up like 2 puppet clowns. I saw what they considered to Queen Isabella to look like, and I'm like, you just insulted every strong Spanish woman in history by doing that. And then you see the crowds just like running through the streets, wild like savages. Oh, so now Spain is full of savages at the time. When the truth of the matter is that no, the Moors were not the good guys. Because there's this little thing that's out there called the Anonymous Latin Chronicles. And what's amazing about this book is that it was written during the Moorish occupation of Spain. And let's take a look at true history. The Moors went north from Africa to Spain, murdered the king of Spain, King Rodrigo, murdered him. Then the wife was forced to marry the caliphate, took Rodrigo's daughters, sold them into sex slavery to the harems of other caliphates, and they started carving up Spain. Different caliphates started taking over areas of Spain. Now, according to the Anonymous Latin Chronicles, yes, the Moors did bring architecture for the benefit of the Moors. They did bring medicine for the benefit of the Moors. They did bring science for the benefit of the Moors. So nothing went to the people of Spain except slavery, cruel laws, cruel punishment. But yet this movie makes the Africans or the Muslim Africans to be the saving grace of Spain, when it was not until they got rid of the Moors that all of Europe benefited from the efforts of Spain, not while they were occupied, but after the Moors were thrown out of Spain. So therefore, this movie, historically, no movie should have, movies are just infamous for taking historical or for taking liberties with history, but not to that level. That was an all-time low when it came to taking these liberties with history itself.
I was surprised how they came up with why they were called the assassins. Now, assassins are never portrayed as being necessarily good guys in this particular manner, and they were there to actually protect the world from Christianity by making sure that Islam was going to prevail. I thought that was a little backwards. Not gonna lie. Okay, so the Christians want to take away free will, which was the will of God. So they want to actually bend to the will of God by defying the will of God, because God gave man free will, and they wanted to take free will away so they could conform to the will. It was so convoluted, it was ridiculous. The whole reasoning behind it. I'll grant you that, but and really, it really wasn't all that entertaining. I mean, the stunts were pretty cool, but other than that, I wasn't impressed.
I mean, it makes me laugh because you have all these left-leaning professors that are saying that, the Europeans have been the scourge. They have been the ones to invade. No, I got news for you. Before the Europeans decided to invade anything, in 711, the year 711 AD, that is when the North Africans invaded Spain. They invaded Europe before anybody from Europe even thought about going into the Middle East. So it was the North Africans that made the first move. It was the Muslims that made the first move by going into Spain and murdering Rodrigo. And then enslavement of the Spanish people happened after that for another 800 years. So nobody sit there and say, it was the Europeans that started all this. No, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
It wasn't the Europeans. that went into Jerusalem because then the Europeans reacted to the Muslims invading Jerusalem. So therefore, don't even try it. And then finally in 1492, finally, they get kicked out of Spain. Spain becomes a free country and becomes, well, not a free country, becomes a monarchy, its own standing nation. And next thing you know, boom, discovery of the New World. Now, all of a sudden, all of Europe and all of the Middle East itself, they start benefiting from the discoveries that happened in the New World. So the hypocrisy that is not just in Hollywood, but Hollywood going to these left-leaning liberal professors and getting their ideas.
Got to run, though, my friend.
It's
up against the hard break here. Got to run.
All right.
But
Talk to you tomorrow.
Talk to you tomorrow. He's got a point, folks. We'll be back.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you mixed your pain meds, your sleep meds, your allergy meds? Call the Poison Helpline. Has your child eaten a tube of toothpaste, a chip of paint, a wild mushroom? Call the Poison Helpline. Have you been bitten by a spider, a snake, an insect? Call the Poison Helpline. Poisonings can happen at the home, on the job, or in the great outdoors. Call the Poison Helpline first for fast, free advice from medical professionals. Call 1-800-222-1222 anytime, anywhere. 1-800-222-1222. Save the number, save a life. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hi, I'm Hillary Duff. As a mom, I'm proud to support the March of Dimes in helping more women have full-term pregnancies and healthy babies. That's why I walk in March for Babies. The money we raise funds research and local programs that help babies overcome the challenges of premature birth and birth defects. Sign up today at marchforbabies.org. Together, we can help make healthier babies possible for thousands of families.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. Go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine. We understand what makes this cancer tick. And of course, without donors from around the world, this just couldn't happen. There's one thing we're focused on, and that's beating this thing.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
America's wounded warriors are coming home. After serving on foreign shores, these brave men and women are returning to their families and communities. Many have wounds you can see, and many have wounds you can't see, like post-traumatic stress disorder. Now that these warriors are back home, they are ready to enter the civilian workforce. To help, Wounded Warrior Project has developed the Warriors to Work program, a career counseling service that helps warriors translate their military experience to the civilian workplace. These extraordinary men and women bring proven world-class job skills and a unique perspective on teamwork to the job. And to ensure the right warrior finds the right job, Wounded Warrior Project works with employers to find just the right match. When you hire a wounded warrior, you hire an intelligent, talented, and committed new employee. Contact Wounded Warrior Project at findwwp.org. Welcome home the brave.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show. Let truth be told.
The Hot Rod line, 603-835-3226. You can utilize that over the next 2.5 hours if you so choose to do so. This whole thing with, getting past the movie The Assassin's Creed. Now, I don't know if the video game is anything like. Obviously, we know that video games don't translate into movies. So basically, about the only thing that the movies take from the video games is the name and the characters. So I've never played Assassin's Creed, the video game. I've never, never really knew what it is. I'm one of those people that know my limits, and I know that I love video games. I don't play them very often simply because I know my limits, and I know that I'll get engrossed in these things and just play and play and play when I have better things to be doing with my time than playing a video game, which is really kind of weird because I have a PlayStation 2, but it hardly even gets turned on now. It used to be my Blu-ray DVD player, but not anymore. I hardly even turn it on. Well, because I got Netflix and Hulu, I don't need to rent DVDs, right? But in any case, speaking of video games, one of the big types of video games out there is sports video games, and one of the big ones, was football. Madden was always a big one. And so is soccer, I guess. Soccer is a big one. Baseball, not so much, but basketball is a big one. Now, I remember playing basketball when I was a little bit younger. I forget but it had the sound effects like, the boom shakalaka. In fact, I think I got that sound effect here. I used to play that all the time. Used to play it just to hear that. Just to hear the announcer go, boom shakalaka. There are people out there that know what I'm talking about. But I bring it up because we got LeBron James out there talking about the peoples of Ohio. LeBron James, King James of the basketball court, on why Ohio voted for Trump. And he says it's lack of education. Now, not lack of formal education, as in kindergarten through 12th grade and post-education as in college, but he's meaning as in being informed. Well, frankly, LeBron, if the people of Ohio were properly informed on their politics and on what each candidate stood for and who each candidate was, and he's claiming that the people of Ohio were ignorant of Trump, well, how about maybe that they understood and knew who Hillary Clinton was, and that's why they voted for Trump? Now, they also voted for Kasich as governor. So he may have a little bit of a point there about Ohioans being a little bit, shall we say, ignorant of the candidates. But I love this whole notion of people on the left are now claiming that everybody on the right who supports or voted for Trump is ignorant. I mean, seriously. So now if you vote or you maybe you didn't even vote for Trump, but now that he's in office, you support him. You're not a never Trumper. So you're ignorant according to the left. You're supposed to be for Hillary. Well, the reason why I don't support Hillary is because I'm not ignorant. I paid attention. I paid attention over the past 20 years. Why do we even bother putting a microphone in front of these sports stars and TV stars and movie stars and music stars? I mean, it's insanity that we look up to these people this way. They don't know jack. Not to mention, most of them have forgotten where they come from. They're very insular now. They're making millions and millions and millions of dollars per year. They live in these big gated communities or huge mansions behind walls, and they don't interact with everyday people. They certainly, if they're African American, if they're black, they certainly don't live in the ghetto and interact with anybody in the ghetto anymore. If a friend from the ghetto isn't a member of their current posse and living outside of the ghetto with them, they don't have anything to do with them anymore. They don't go back to the ghetto. When does any of these sports or movie stars go back to the ghetto and just hang out? They don't. They talk about getting out, and once they get out, they never go back. As a matter of fact, they make sure they don't have to go back because they pull their mamas out, and they buy their mama a house outside of the ghetto in the suburbs somewhere. So they don't have to go back. As far as the rest of the family is concerned, well, a lot of these stars that make millions of dollars a year, not just blacks either, white people too. They say, screw you, you're on your own. Look at Sarah Jessica Parker. Members of her own immediate family at one point were on public assistance. And she was known to have said, well, that's what government is for. No, don't take care of your own family. Sure, take care of your mama and your papa, and that's about it. But they don't want to go back to the ghetto. They don't go back and spend time there. I don't care if it's a white ghetto, black ghetto, Spanish ghetto, Latino ghetto. It doesn't matter. I don't see Jennifer Lopez heading. Where is she from? Brooklyn? I don't see her going back to Brooklyn very often, unless she's performing. So don't get me started on these so-called stars. They're all hypocrites, as far as I'm concerned. Because not all of them. Hardly any of them ever. Well, they will go back to their own town and their own school if it's in the suburbs somewhere that's a really nice place. I don't see them going back very often to their ghetto beginnings in the inner city and talking to kids and helping kids. Where the hell is Jay-Z and Beyonce? They grew up in the mean streets of New York City. Now they live on the Upper East Side, living the life of George Jefferson. We're moving on up to the east side. They did, and they didn't look back. This is just we're supposed to like put these people up on a pedestal. I'm not gonna do it. Sorry, LeBron, you're an idiot, and the reason why people in Ohio, in your home state of Ohio, supported and voted for Trump is because they were informed about the alternative, which was Hillary, and they were informed. They didn't even vote in the primaries for your guy, for their own governor, Kasich, because again they were informed. Let's go back to the phone. 731, you're live on the Rod Eccles Show. Good morning.
Hey, well, you've been spot on. Talking about Jay-Z and that gang, do you recall when they did the Hillary during her campaign?
Oh,
they
good
went
grief!
I know, but everybody left. And that's my point. Everybody left. They don't give a crap. All they wanted was some free music. But Hillary, today I saw an article on the Hill, in the Hill, I guess whatever they think they're on the Hill, but talking about Trump doing nothing after Puerto Rico has been, after they've destroyed Puerto Rico, where he needs to send the comfort over there to help. Well, I tweeted out, where were you when Chris Stevenson and our men needed you? We didn't hear anything about you. You didn't come out. You sent Susan Rice 5 days later to lie to the public. And so my thing about Hillary Clinton is she needs to just go away. But she's not going to. But, you know, she needs to bring out her 33,000 emails, tell us why she had a server and her pay-to-play scheme that she pulled over on the American people, and how she actually her and the DNC stole the election, stole the campaign from, whatever. I get so mad. I think about her. And then you have Obama, Rice, and all them unmasking and spying on U.S. citizens, and I guarantee you we could be in that, and the Trump campaign for political reasons. Comey and Clapper both lied before Congress about that. How the CIA, the FBI, and the IRS, Homeland Security were all politicized and weaponized under Obama. And the fact that James Comey, the FBI, and the Department of Justice under Obama and Rice were more interested in trying to find anything they could on Trump, but completely ignoring that they needed to investigate the felonies committed by the Clintons. MSM knows this. They know that Benghazi attack occurred because Obama and Clinton were illegally running weapons through the embassy. And that's why the CIA were there. It was so that basically they had Obama and Hillary's Iran-Contra. So you see what Obama and his administration did with the Clintons and all the corruption in the past administration combined. It doesn't fit their narrative, and that's why they have to have LeBron James and all these goofballs coming out, because they're the smartest, hippest, and Obama was the best president they'd ever. They touted that for 8 years. And I'm just here to
he's
tell
the smartest, the highest IQ. I don't know how any of them know what the IQ of any of the early presidents were. We didn't have IQ tests back then, so I have no idea how they know that George Washington.
Well, we don't have his record. We can't even get his college record.
I know about Obama. We can't get any of his most of his records. They've been locked away, and then he gets elected, and one of the first things he does is fly off to Hawaii, his former home state, and locks up everything, so we can't get to it. And I know it's a look. I still, well, not to rehash this whole birther thing. I still believe that he was born in the United States. I believe that I believe that his father was not Barack Obama Sr. There are people that agree with me. There are people that have done some investigations. They believe that Obama's real biological daddy is one of two people. Now I can't remember the other guy's name. But he was another black activist of the day. It was either Malcolm X or this other guy, because his mama was known to hang out around black activists back then, and she was very enamored with black men, which is nothing wrong with that. But at the time that Obama would have been conceived, she was in Seattle hanging out with Malcolm X and this other guy. I can't remember his name. So there's speculation that it isn't Barack Sr., that he was a convenient scapegoat, that he needed, it was one of those marriages of convenience. He needed her, Stanley, and whatever her name was, in order to stay in the country, but he eventually got booted anyway. He eventually got booted anyway. But in order to try to keep him here, she put his name on the birth certificate. But there's some evidence that would say that Barack went back to Hawaii in order to shut down, because he knows who his real daddy is, and he locked down that information so everybody else would.
Frank Marshall, isn't it? Frank Marshall.
Yes.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, is what we're talking about, and people are probably saying, okay, you're rehashing old stuff. No, she wants to come out and bully everybody and pretend to be like she won the presidency when she needs to be reminded, and this is LeBron James for your information, this is why she lost in Ohio and every other state, because people want to know answers, and they don't give us any answers. It's just lie after lie, cover up after cover up, and people become
corruption, pure and simple, from day one. And it's not just the Clinton. Yeah, you're right. It's the Obamas too. I mean, Obama just the corruption is is complete. It is absolutely complete. It's thorough and complete.
They have to get your attention to look over here so that you don't really look over here what I'm doing. So what their goal is to just tie Trump up in lawsuits, make just relentless allegations using the fake mainstream media to distract the public from their own crimes and investigations, and through gagging the media and extortion and blackmail. That's the take of the day. That's why they have to send these so-called stars out to try to, get their image. But it's done. They're done. Put a fork and turn them, and then go away.
Yeah, this is why I never get starstruck. Is that the term, starstruck?
Look, if they walked up to my front door, I wouldn't give them my dog's bowl to drink out of. That's the truth.
I probably wouldn't even recognize half of them.
If they weren't all up. Okay. Hey, have a great day.
You too.
Good
Thanks
show.
for the call.
Okay.
I honestly, a lot of the TV movie stars, sports stars, I would, if they did walk up to my front door, knock on the door, I wouldn't recognize them. I really wouldn't. That's how much I really care about them. Is that bad of me?
Hello, America. It's me, your history. I remember a time when we thumbed our nose in a king's face, sent him packing. And when fascists and emperors talked a little bit too loud, we showed up, tore their cities to the ground, and then rebuilt them just to prove we could. We put men on the moon, we won a Cold War, and we elected fearless leaders who led fearless people. What the hell happened to you, America? Back in my day, we didn't elect a big-eared community organizer. We punched him in the kidney. Maybe it's time you came home, America. Home where you belong.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
This is Free America broadcasting on the Rod Eccles Show with a message to all patriots trapped behind the lines in California, New York, Boston, and Chicago. Don't give up, true lovers of America. Even as we speak, moves are being made to drive the invaders back to the land from which they came. Defeat the would-be dictators and lift the chains of tyranny from around your neck. Stay strong. Stay brave. You're not forgotten, and you're not alone. Until next time, patriots, this is Free America signing out.
Call Rod now, 603-835-3226. Lines are open.
Target, yes, Target Corporation. Well, if you spend more than $50 at during a shopping trip, it's not called Target; it's called Target. Well, and it's not that difficult to spend more than $50 a trip at Target. To tell you the truth, I'm a Walmart snob. I avoid Walmart if I possibly can, and instead you shop at Target. I'll admit it. Well, does that make me a Walmart snob or a Target snob? It doesn't really matter. But Target is doing something that has thrown a wrench into the entire system of this fight for 15, the $15 minimum or per hour minimum wage thing. Because they all think, all the wonderful left thinks that the government has to do this. And I'm telling you, it has nothing to do with taking care of those people who are at the lowest rungs of the economic ladder. And that hardly anybody was getting paid the minimum wages of $7.25. Because they also, well, you ever try to raise a family of four on minimum wage? Nobody's paying minimum wage. I mean, it's not, in most places in the country, there's no way in hell an employer is going to hire anybody and get away with paying minimum wage. But yet, this is what they talk about. These people are making $8 an hour or less. No, they're not. Well, Target announced yesterday that it was going to raise their minimum starting salary, company-wide, to $15 an hour by 2020. And as a matter of fact, they were raising it from $10. I think what are they? $10 now to $11 starting an hour starting next month. And why are they doing it? Not to fend off any sort of government intervention, because they want to be able to hire and retain good employees. And with this, the economy improving and the unemployment rate falling and the labor participation rate increasing, it's becoming harder to find and keep the best people. So how do you do that? Well, economic forces say, well, you got to do something to entice people to come and stay. And what's the biggest incentive for people to go to work for you and stay there? Is salary. How much you pay them. I know, banks are mighty famous for handing out, titles. But what keeps an employee where they are is simply really is pay and working conditions. And if you pay them enough, they'll overlook the bad working conditions. People will. If you pay, that's why it's called a job just over broke. You pay people just enough so they don't quit. Well, sometimes having to pay them a little bit more is what's needed so they don't quit. So instead of paying them $15 an hour, you might have to pay them $18. That way they won't quit on you. And you keep a good employee. Target's learning this lesson. Not government intervention, by the way.
Have you ever thought to yourself, I'm a leftist elite Hollywood a-hole? If so, good news. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College is now open, featuring such courses as unemployment is not paid vacation. No, Americans don't want to spend $19 for an order of French fries, and the ever popular shut the hell up. Why, just listen to this big-time celebrity endorsement.
I'm not Rosie O'Donnell, and I think this school's offensive, sexist, and racist.
And I think you're a giant a-hole who needs to shut the hell up. Hey, we teach a course in that. The Rod Eccles Hollywood Community College, where being an a-hole is not a guarantee you'll be an A student.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We've got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and always stay in the kitchen when cooking at high temperatures. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
And now, a message from the American Migraine Foundation.
It's an absolute nightmare. I was terrified. It was like your head's going to explode.
Migraine is a disabling disease.
Just all of a sudden couldn't see.
Migraine has ruined my life.
Absolutely terrifying.
There's pain that does not stop.
It's a throbbing, pulsing, banging, hammering feeling in your head.
36 million Americans suffer.
I started getting migraines around 5 years old.
Just takes over everything.
I feel trapped by migraine.
It hurts like my head's gonna fall off.
And the whole world around you stops.
My world has gotten small.
You feel like the world's closing in on you. There's nothing you can do.
I had spent a year housebound.
It's like you're trapped in your head. There's no escaping it. You can't leave your body.
Don't suffer alone. Make your move against migraine. Visit AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to find help, learn more, and get connected.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
And so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
Every day,
The men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Good morning and welcome back. Yes, indeed, it is I, your lovable host, ensconced in the Freedom Throne behind the Freedom microphone this Tuesday morning, which is September number 26 in the year of our Lord 2017, hour number 2 here on the program. Welcome to all of you liberty lovers and ecclesiastites all across the globe, as well as you irregular listeners and you liberals. I know that you're out there listening. You keep commenting. If you don't want me to know that you're listening, then don't comment. Don't tag me in stuff. It's funny how I get tagged in stuff. I don't even ask to be tagged. I just, I turn on social media. I go to some of my social media accounts and, I get all this, the inbox, mentions and stuff like that. And it's all these people tagging me all over the place. And it's usually sometimes, well, a lot of times it's about stuff tagging stuff in relation to what I was talking about earlier in the day on this program. So I know you're all listening, especially some of you liberals. You claim what's his name? Rob Roy claims he doesn't listen. Well, I think it's kind of interesting that he tags me in certain stuff based on what I have said on the program. So I know you guys are listening. You don't fool me. But thanks for listening. Really. Some of you are probably getting an education. You're probably getting, you're joining the informed people, conservatives that listen to this program on a regular basis. You're becoming as informed as, and that's the point, because at some point you're becoming so informed, there's no possible way that you can be a liberal. Honestly, there's just no possible way. Some of you, you choose to stay ignorant. I get that point. But anyway, glad everybody's out there listening. The Hot Rod call-in line is 603-835-3226. Utilize that over the next 2 hours if you so desire and choose. And again, if you're listening for the first time, thank you for tuning in. The show, it keeps growing. I really don't have anything against liberals per se. I mean, I get why some people are liberals. I honestly do. Now hang with me on this one, folks. If we really take this apart as to bring it back to its original formation of what liberalism is really supposed to be about. Liberalism is supposed to be about liberty. Well, I mean, in this particular case, it's supposed to mean smaller government and people not interfering with your God-given liberty to pursue your own life. And somewhere along the line in man's history in this country, liberalism got co-opted by, let's call it what it is, pro-fascist, pro-socialist, pro-communist. I mean, I think it's highly ironic that we call liberals today liberals when they're the most anti-liberalistic people on the planet. I mean, they don't want you to speak your mind if they disagree with you. In fact, they believe that if you say something that they disagree with or dislike, that they have the right and the forthright and the command to beat the crap out of you, and not to engage you in public or private discourse, not to debate you, but just to commit violent acts upon you and those that you care about and your property. Simply because you say something that they don't agree with. Now, that's not liberty. That's oppression. That's oppression in its rawest and truest form. Now, if you're a person out there that's listening to this program that agrees with Black Lives Matter and Antifa, I got to ask you the question, why do you call yourself a liberal if this is what you believe? You are more concerned about an owl in a tree than you are about a human being. What happens if we're able to read the mind? There are people out there that claim that they can read the minds of your dog or your cat. What happens if we can read the minds of an owl and the owl calls you a total and complete idiot? Are you going to beat up the owl? Are you going to cut down his tree? I mean, this is insane. It's ludicrous. And why do you keep utilizing and using the term racist and racism for everything when you don't disagree with somebody? Now, I don't know how many times I have said on this program, and other people have pointed it out as well, Donald Trump is not a racist. The NAACP is not going to give not one but multiple awards to a racist. They have done this throughout Donald Trump's career as a real estate mogul. The only time that it has come, notice that Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton are not running around this country constantly calling Donald Trump a racist. Why? Because then it would open up the whole notion that if he's a racist, Al, if he's a racist, Jesse, why did you and groups like the NAACP give Donald Trump awards for his work in the black community? But if you say that today, if you point out that Donald Trump got awards, you got people like Antifa that want to beat the shit out of you. How is that liberal? That's not liberty inducing. That's oppression. And frankly, I don't even, the whole notion that if a person thinks for themselves, what you want is you want groupthink. You don't want a person to think for themselves. You don't want a person to question anything. I mean, come on. You have got a candidate here. You had a candidate who was caught red-handed stealing an election. And yet you still supported her. Why? Oh, because she wasn't Donald Trump. Well, what difference does it make? It could have been any Republican and you would have said, well, I still would have supported her because, And I love this whole thing about Donald Trump. Everybody was worried about Donald Trump and his gay rights thing. Are you freaking kidding me? He was going to take away gay rights, man. Really? Who said that? Oh, he wasn't for transgenders. That's not what he said. He said states should be able to decide their transgender bathroom issues. This is not a federal issue. And he was right. It's not a federal issue. It is a state. If your state wants to bend over backwards, pun intended, for transgenderism and allow them into to use any bathroom they want, great. That's your state. But don't impose it over the entire damn country. So because he didn't want to impose federal will on everybody, now all of a sudden If you don't do everything, if every law isn't at the federal level, if everything isn't imposing, if the government isn't imposing its will at the federal level, then somehow you're a racist, bigoted, homophobe. Really, that's ridiculous. And it's absolutely an utter. Actually, I got a. Speaking of, where is that story? Speaking of homophobic stuff. Yeah, got a story. This will blow your mind. Boop-a-doo. There is a story. Where is that story? Egypt arrest. That's not the story. Egypt. By the way, Egypt is for those. This is partly why the European homosexual community is moving to the right. As a matter of fact, in Germany, there is a lesbian who was a victor in the election. She is hard far right of the AfD, the alternative or alternate for Germany, Deutschland. She's a lesbian with a mate and children. And she's not for gay marriage. And she doesn't like Angela Merkel. Can't stand her. Why? Because Angela Merkel, who is a liberal, is out there importing people that hate gay people. See, gays in Europe are not stupid. Gays in America are pretty damn stupid. Gays in Europe have wised up. They're not so stupid anymore. They understand that the people that they're calling refugees and allowing into their country that are doing all this damage to Western European nations are not very friendly to gays either. Germany gay bashing is on the rise. I brought this to you yesterday. There's a story, it's in a paper pile somewhere here too. Gay bashing is on the rise, and gays in Western Europe are moving to the right. Unlike you stupid idiot gays here in the USA, who think that your wonderful protectors and supporters are the liberals. Well, they're the same damn people that are over there in Europe, and they're not your protectors. Does anybody remember that Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama were against gay marriage until around 2013, 2014 when they needed your money? Anybody forget that? Oh, the gay community will forgive that because they finally came around. How about the fact that instead of getting rid of this whole notion that you can't serve if you're gay in the military, President Bill Clinton instituted a don't ask, don't tell policy. If you don't, we won't ask as long as you don't tell. But if you do tell, you're still going to get kicked out. Oh, that was okay. Barack Obama needing to be sued in order to get rid of it by a right-wing Republican gay group. And after they lose the court battle, it still takes him a year to implement the court order. And yet he's the greatest person for gay people ever. And then he comes out and says, well, yeah, I think gays should be allowed to be married. And then he only did that after Mitt Romney almost beat his ass in his re-election bid. He needed money. And you gay people got a lot of it, evidently. And you people, you are so stupid. Your leadership, your gay leadership basically said, well, hey, if Barack Obama doesn't come out and openly endorse our right to exist and get married, then we're going to withhold our support for him. And he heard you say that, and he said, okay, well, I'll endorse you. No big deal. I mean, hell, this is the Democrat Party, right? We endorse everything. And you fell for it. You guys, you want to talk about ignorant? Well, your counterparts in Europe are wising up and getting an education. And they are moving to the right. The political right. And I know here in this country, they try to label them as being fascist, this whole thing about the hard right, the AfD. In Germany, I mean, Jews aren't worried about the AfD. How can they possibly be worried about the AfD if they've got homosexuals in the AfD? How is the AFD fascist, anti-homosexual, anti-Jew if they've got gays and Jews in their leadership? They can't be. This is the whole point. You people on the left, all you do is lie, lie, lie. And then when you can't lie anymore, then you want to shut people up by force. Well, that's fascism. That's communism. That's anti-liberty. And every freaking day I've got the evidence that I bring to people on this program. Just how anti-liberty, how pro-fascist, pro-communist the left is. That includes the Democrat Party. Hell, I mean, you got Maxine Waters out there. You know, Trump doesn't like the fact that people take a knee during the national anthem. And Maxine Waters is out there saying, see, that's why we need to impeach Trump. Impeach Trump because he doesn't like people disrespecting the United States? And for that, he should be impeached. Do I need to say anything more about liberals?
You're listening to the Rod Eccles Show, the coolest, most politically incorrect, conservative black man on the planet.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
You know, a couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said to me, I bet you won't lend me money to buy an electric guitar. Well, he was making $100 a week, and he was over 18, and I said, I bet you I will lend you money to buy an electric guitar. And I did. So what happens? The punk gets busted for possession of dangerous drugs, and we're out $350. There's one thing about kids nowadays. You don't have to give them credit.
Universal Bank. We trust you. About as far as we can throw you.
Here in my currently cigar nicotine stained fingers is the story that I was just mentioning about the AFD in Germany winning. This is from the Daily Mail. Lesbian, she says, I am a homosexual and no one seems to have gotten up and walked out, says far-right lesbian mother of two who happens to be against gay marriage, set to take on Angela Merkel after their triumph in German elections. Alice Weidel, actually Vida, W-E-I-D-E-L, but they pronounce it Vida, is a key figure in Germany's far-right Alternative für Deutschland, AfD. In other words, Alternative for Germany. Still AfD, not AFG. The 38-year-old former Goldman Sachs banker has 2 children with her partner, female partner. Oh, yeah, she's a Goldman Sachs person. Oh, my God, she's a banker. She might even be, Alice Weidel, banker. She might even be Jewish. A Jewish lesbian. Well, I don't know if she is Jew, but just possible. She works for Goldman Sachs, right? Isn't that the stereotype of Jews? She highlighted her sexuality on the campaign trail, but opposed at gay marriage. Now after the AfD party has surged to success with 13% of the vote, Merkel's Christian Democratic Union Party won most of the votes with 32.5% support. But thousands of protesters took to the streets to denounce the result of the election. Of course, hey, don't get out there and try to persuade your fellow German citizen or American citizen to vote the way that you think that they should vote. Yeah, just go out there after you lose because you don't get your way. You might even win, but you don't get your way, so you just want to protest. So she's one of the key figures in Germany's resurgent far-right party. The AfD party is party member is a lesbian mother of 2 who has faced claims she employed an illegal immigrant as a cleaner and is against gay marriage. Hey, doesn't she love it? They always bring out this stuff. Oh, hey, you're anti-illegal immigrant? Well, how come you had an illegal immigrant as your housekeeper? Isn't that always that has got to be in that must be in the playbook. That has got to be in the every single time. You get somebody who's strong legal immigration, strong national borders. We always find out. Well, they possibly could have had an illegal immigrant cleaning their toilets. Isn't that what we always find out? Isn't that what the left always finds out for us? It's redonkulous. It really. Well, I mean, it's just typical. It's always in their playbook, that kind of stuff. Now, she's a doctor, by the way. Not medical, PhD. Dr. Alice Weidel, 38, stormed to victory last night with the AfD, claiming almost 13% of the vote and due to hold 94 of the 709 seats in the Bundestag. It's the first time a right-wing party will sit in the Bundestag since the defeat of the Nazis in 1945. Now, see how they're framing this? They're right-wing, and they haven't had right-wingers sit in the Bundestag since the Nazis in 45. So they must be Nazis. Oh, but wait, Nazis didn't like gay people. They used to put pink triangles on them and shove them into concentration camps with Jews. So, obviously, then the Alternative für Deutschland is not Nazism because they've got gays and Jews, possibly gay Jews. I know you can. The reality of this stuff is, folks, is that the left is just full of a bunch of liars. They will say and do anything in order to try to get their way, because they know their way. Nobody else in their right mind, if they're normal, at least partly normal, would never accept what the left does. And obviously, here in the United States, we're one of these countries that is moved to the right. If you don't think so, just look at all the governorships that are Republican, all the state legislators chambers that are led by Republicans. The few and far between Democrats that are in Washington D.C. right now. I mean, time and time again, we've heard stories, even from the left. The Democrats haven't been this decimated, this out of power since the 1920s. This country has moved to the right. And yet, if you were to pay attention to Antifa and Black Lives Matter, the reason why we have Antifa and Black Lives Matter is because people aren't falling for the liberal crap. They're not falling for the Democratic Party line. And these people are upset that you won't believe them, so they're going to try to force you to believe them through violence and intimidation. Well, it ain't working.
Dad, we need to talk.
Can we just enjoy the drive?
If you're not going to listen to me, who will we listen to?
Jeffrey. Marcia Gay Harden, what?
Eyes on the road, Dad.
What are you doing? What are you doing in my back seat? How did you get in here?
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain's changing. It's natural.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age and helping to reduce some of the risks to your brain.
Really? Now that's interesting.
So, you'll talk to her about this, but not me. Marcia Gay Harden? Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov. She didn't say goodbye? I mean, I would have. Visit brainhealth.gov.
Every day, 70,000 puppies or kittens are born in the U.S. Cute, right? What's not cute is that half of all litters are accidents, which leads to millions killed in shelters each year. Turns out, those little cuties can get pregnant sooner than you think. But here's the good news. You can stop the accident before it happens. When you bring home a pet, get them fixed at 4 months old. Prevent more. Fix at month 4. Visit fixat4.com for more information. Brought to you by Best Friends Animal Society.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
Battles aren't won solely on the field. That's a common misconception. Battles are won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. In that place where promises are kept. Promises to oneself.
This is a physical training event!
Promises to one's community.
Helping people move debris out of their house.
Promises to one's country. In the heart of every Marine, you'll find a promise. A promise forever kept. A promise of battles won.
We're here early before they wake up. We stay late, we stay informed, we invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
We do this not because it's our job, but because this is about our veterans' lives. This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
Hi, this is Kelsey Grammer. When military service members head into battle,
None are expected to face the enemy alone, but many return home and become isolated as they struggle with the visible and invisible wounds of war. It can be difficult knowing how to overcome that challenge and rekindle bonds similar to those formed in the military. Wounded Warrior Project supports these injured veterans through their recoveries by connecting them with fellow warriors and their communities. No one should fight this battle alone. Join us at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Call Rod now, 666-03-835-3226. And welcome back. We are still live. Nothing is recorded here. Nothing is pre-recorded here today. We are live. We're a live event. So, whatever live means to you, I guess. Isn't that the way they always say it on the left? Whatever it means to you, that's what it is, man. Well, how about this then? What does this mean to the leftists? Egypt arrests 7 for raising the rainbow gay flag at indie rock gig. Yes, Egyptian authorities have arrested 7 people they accuse of being gay and promoting homosexuality for allegedly raising the rainbow flag of the LGBT movement at a concert last week. Even though there's no law banning the practices. Right. There's evidently no Egyptian law banning, the gay flag or being gay in Egypt. The flag was a rare sign of support for highly marginalized homosexuals in conservative Egypt. It took place at a Cairo performance on Friday by popular Lebanese indie rock band Mashrou, Mashrou, Mashrou Lila, which is a jazzy electro arabesque group whose lead singer is openly gay. Look, this is in the Middle East, folks. Now, Egypt is the Middle East. And here you have in a Middle Eastern country, people, even when there doesn't appear to be any laws against it, people are getting arrested for supporting the homosexual lifestyle. And yet we got people in this country that think, we need to let in all the Arabs, man, because, they're refugees. And in Europe, you have gays going the opposite direction. We got to stop letting in all these refugees because they're bashing us to death. And you've got gays that are hard right wingers, hard right liners. And you got gays that evidently openly say they're not for gay marriage, although they have partners and children. But they want to take on people like Angela Merkel, who are letting in all of these, because she's liberal. She's a European liberal. You got the French gays are doing the same thing, evidently. Macron has got his work cut out for him. He spends a ton of money. He spends a ton of euros on male makeup. Macron, there was a story a couple of weeks ago here on that. Macron spends an awful lot of money on makeup for himself, and not just everyday makeup, not just for television, appearances or anything. This is everyday. He puts on his face like his wife does. Every day, he spends a lot of money on that stuff. So you'd think he'd be a little bit more gay-friendly. Well, evidently he's not being very gay-friendly because French gays are already sick of him because he won't cut back and do anything about the refugees, the so-called refugees, Middle Eastern refugees, who are flooding into France, who are causing all kinds of mayhem, including in the French gay community. Hey, they don't like these people. Why? Because Middle Eastern people don't like gays. They bash them, they beat them, they throw them off buildings, they hang them, behead them, cut off their hands, cut off their penises. They do all kinds of... This is why Iran says that they don't have a gay problem. Why? Because if they find out if there's even a hint of you being gay, or even a hint that you've committed sodomy, they arrest you and prison you and or execute you. And European gays have figured this out finally. American gays haven't figured it out yet. Just Rod, it sounds like you're good. What are you doing? You turning really pro-gay? No, I'm pro-human being here. I'm pointing out the hypocrisy of the left. And who really, as LeBron James says that Ohio people were ignorant because they voted for Trump, who really is the ignorant ones here? Even when you explain it fully to these people, they don't believe you, or they just go about their business believing what they believed before. Yes, Rod, I know that Trump is for gays. I know that Trump got awards for helping black people, but he only did that because he was a racist and he was a homophobe. And I know that liberals want all the Arabic and Islamists to come into the country and possibly bash us. But we're going to stand with Islam and we're going to stand with liberalism because it's just the way to go. They will constantly believe that until it personally affects them. Somehow, some way. How is that going to have to? Well, you would think that having their brothers and sisters in Europe, in the Middle East, being and in Muslim Asian countries being gathered up, rounded up, and killed would be enough. But this is for Canadians too. North American gay people they're spoiled. They really are. They don't have to live the life that gay people have to live in the rest of the world. Literally. They don't have to deal with it. I mean, their struggle goes back to what? Stonewall? Well, that was the struggle, Rod. That was just so we fought hard to get. What about the rest of the world that's still fighting for their very lives? Well, you're over here complaining that people don't recognize your marriage. People in other parts of the country are dying. Remember Matthew Shepard? Wasn't that the big stink? Matthew Shepard, gay bashing, man. We got hate crime laws in this country now. You can't gay bash anymore. Well, first of all, it wouldn't matter if there were hate crime legislation or hate crime laws in Europe. They would still get bashed. You're never going to get hate crime laws in the Middle East. Nowhere in the Middle East. And your brothers and sisters of the rainbow flag are being captured and killed on a daily basis over there. But I don't hear you saying a word about them. I don't hear you having any concerts of support. I don't see any of your gay friends or celebrities donating any of their proceeds of any of their works of art, as they call it, to helping gays in the Middle East. I don't see you doing any of that. Why? Because you're selfish little pricks. That's all you are. You think you're so smart, and you're not. The only reason why you are taking the positions that you're taking on the left is because you don't stand for anything. You can't, because if you actually stood for something, you wouldn't be talking about and supporting the people that you do. The only thing you're doing is you're being anti-Trump because somebody on the left told you to be anti-Trump. At some point, somebody said, well, call Trump a racist. Okay, he's a racist. Even though the evidence is for him being an anti-racist is very abundant for decades. I mean, this whole NFL thing, when he was out there talking about, fire that son of a bitch. Yeah, you got the lamestream media saying it was racist. He's calling football players, all of them, all the black football players, not the white ones, just the black ones. I don't know how they got that, but they're saying he called all the black players son of a bitches. It's not what he said. But that's what the lamestream media wants you to believe. And that's what you idiots on the left are going to believe. He said that about the black players. He did not say that about the black players. He said that about all of them. White, black, it doesn't matter. And he says, well, they should have a rule where they can't drop a knee. Well, the NFL already has rules against that. They're not enforcing them. That's the point. That's the problem. You know, the Dallas Cowboys, remember when a couple of years ago, Dallas Cowboys wanted to wear those patches in honor of the 5 Dallas police officers that got killed while protecting Black Lives Matter? Remember that? Oh yeah, Roger Goodell said, no, you can't do that. We got rules against that. You can't honor fallen heroes on an NFL team. No, not the police, not the military. You know, we'll do flyovers with the military, but don't you dare wear a patch. Because you'll get suspended, even fired if you do that. It's in your contracts. Read your contracts. All of you players, read your contracts. You can't do anything that's disparaging to the NFL or else you could be disciplined, including being fired. Doesn't matter how big of a star you are. But you do something disparaging like take a knee and disrespect the entire freaking country during the national anthem, we can't, crush their freedom of speech. Even when you get stadium fulls of fans who boo you for doing it, you're still going to take the stance. Well, hey, we're going to stand for our players here. And they have a right to kneel and sit if they want to. And Donald Trump says, well, it's offensive to most Americans. He's the president of the United States. The American people are offended. Donald Trump is pointing out that the American people are offended. And that by the rules of conduct in the NFL, they all should be fired who do that. And he's saying, you're fired. That's remember his coin term, you're fired from The Apprentice. You're fired. He said, I'd fire the son of a bitch if they did that. In other words, if you're in a business and you have an employee that disrespects your business, that employee is going to be fired. How many times do I have to remind people the NFL is a business? And they should be fired. How many times I got to remind you that the left, the leftists in this country like Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton and Maxine Waters is not standing in the gap for gay people. They don't give a damn about you. And yet you want to stand up for them and argue the sound bites every single time in their favor. Man, they're not even stabbing you in the back. They're just standing in front of you and slapping you across the face time and time again. And every time they slap you, you're going to support us. Yeah, we'll support you. You're a bitch. But you're still going to support us. Yeah, we are, but we're going to support you. Because that's exactly what they're doing. Did Rod just use the B word in live radio? Yes, I did, because that's exactly how they're treating you. And you don't seem to get it. Now, okay, LeBron, who are the ignorant ones? Who are the ignorant ones now? Honestly, seriously. Who's ignorant? The people that are ignorant are the very ones that you keep telling over and over. And on this program, I keep telling you over and over and over again what they're doing to you on the left, and yet you still support them because you still blame Donald Trump for being a racist, even though Donald Trump has gotten awards from the NAACP. Do you know who the NAACP is, you leftist idiot? The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Yeah, that's what colored people. What do you mean colored people? That's what they used to call blacks. When the organization was formed, they called black people colored people. I don't know why they call them colored. You people on the left came up with that. Democrats came up with that term. Well, because they had color and white people don't have color because, white is colorless, I guess. I don't know. Go ask the Ku Klux Klan why they call them colored people. We know why they call them Negroes, because they couldn't use the other form of the N word.
I'm not Rod Eccles, and I approve this message.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
A couple of weeks ago, a long-haired young person came into our bank and said, "I'll bet you're a Nazi." Well, I love America, support the Constitution, and believe in capitalism. So I told him I'm not a Nazi, and I'm not. So what happens? The punk breaks out 2 windows and pepper sprays an elderly woman in the face. You know, there's one thing about long-haired young people nowadays. They're real assholes. Long-haired young people. You suck.
603-835-3226. Yeah, it's well, I guess the long-haired young people, it's pretty accurate if you look at the left. Anybody look at the funny thing is that don't you see a lot of TV star or music stars now who used to have long hair? Aren't they going short? They're trying to look what? Republican, aren't they? Yeah, even though they're not. Let's go to the phones. 256, you're live on the Rod Eccles Show. What you got?
Hey, Rod, it's Devin. How are you?
Good, Devin. How are you?
Doing good. I try to call in every once in a while, but usually I'm very quiet and content to, make my comments in the speaker chat room. But you got me today. You got me. Two things that I'd like to comment on is a few minutes ago you were talking about the gay community here in America and how their protests are pretty much self-serving. They want America to accept them as they are, and I never really thought we had that much of a problem with it. What we do have a problem with, though, is the politics and thinking that you are a protected class and that you deserve, more than the average American.
Yes.
And here's a thought. I haven't heard anybody say this, but this is what I'm feeling, is maybe the reason that they turn a blind eye to what's going on in the Muslim world and in other countries such as North Korea who is, abhorrent behavior towards the homosexual community, is that they really are afraid of those cultures. They fear that. I mean, Islam is very vicious, when it comes to attacks against them or pushing politics on them. And as an American community, we're pretty content to just kind of roll over and take it. So we've kind of made ourselves a victim class.
Well, I mean, yeah, everybody's got to be a victim in order to be heard, politically speaking, on the left. So if you no longer are a victim, then you're not going to keep the same status that you had. And frankly, that is the problem with the so-called LGBTQ, PDQ community here in this country right now, is that because they've gotten so many rights and special rights, and they've been enshrined in law, a number of different laws that we didn't really need, they're no longer victims. They're being pushed aside. And I think some of them are starting to see that, because they came across as saying, well, this is a civil rights thing, just like, being black was for civil rights. And the black community, whether they be gay blacks or straight blacks, are saying, oh, hell no, it ain't the same thing. But they still got their way. They got gay marriage in all 50 states. They got special rights for adoptions and all that kind of stuff now are on the books. They've been pushed aside. Nobody really thinks about gays anymore. Now it's it's transgendered now. And gay people don't like transgendered people. I mean, this is a fact. They are not very the gay community, lesbians and homosexual men are not very friendly to non-drag queen transsexuals. They're not. They don't like them.
They see them as trying to have their cake and eat it too.
Yeah, that is definitely it. But the wake-up call to the gay community hasn't happened here in North America yet. It is happening, and it's happening in Europe, and this is why they're moving to the right.
That's my point. Here in America, as a straight conservative, you're expected just to roll over and take it from these political action groups or these special interest groups, like the LGBT community. Whereas you take that stuff to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and you'll be killed.
Yeah, they're not going to put up with that crap. No.
So that's why they turned a blind eye towards it.
And there's a lot of these. You'd be surprised. Look, the world is not gay friendly like some of these people in this country will have you believe. Everybody's gay. They're far ahead of us in gay rights. No, they're not. I mean, most of the world is anti-gay still, whether or not they want to understand that or believe it. The reality is, once you move outside of North America and once you move outside of Western Europe, the world is pretty much anti-gay. China doesn't really put up with it. China just, they think it's okay. As long as you stay out of sight, they won't bother you. You try to make a fuss about being gay, they'll put the hammer down on you just like, do they have a sickle? They'll put the hammer and sickle down on you like anything else. North Korea, brutal regime on homosexuals. Iran, the rest of the Middle East, brutal regimes. Even those that are supposed to be democratic, brutal on homosexuality. Africa, the continent of Africa, most countries in Africa, brutal regimes on homosexuals. India, you would think India, as pretty as those guys can be sometimes, they don't really, get along with the gay population and community. They're underground. This is not normal. What we see in Western Europe and North America is not normal. And the gays in this country better understand and wake up to it because they're importing a lot of it here.
Yes. My second point, I'd like you to comment on some more, is on this NFL taking a knee thing. Good Lord, as a veteran,
I'm gonna. Can you hold on till after the break? I want to really get into this with you. We got to go to the hard top of the hour break. Got to pay the bills here, but we'll get into it. Hold on, Kevin. We'll be right back, folks.
It was just another quiet Saturday at the Johnson home.
Honey, have you seen the hammer?
It's in the garage.
Oh, no, not the garage.
Later that same day...
Dad, I can't find the bicycle pump.
Son, I'm afraid it's in the garage.
The garage?
Then the following Tuesday...
Howard, where's the car?
It's in the garage.
Does your garage look like a giant yard sale without the yard? Do you cringe at the thought of entering your garage? Then you need Crest Garage Cabinets. With one phone call, those wonderful folks at Crest will come out to your home, design the best combination of cabinets for you, and install them quickly and professionally before your very eyes.
It's a miracle.
And unlike other companies who ask for a down payment or money up front, you won't pay a penny until your Crest cabinets are installed to your satisfaction. So call Crest today, toll-free at 1-800-548-2848. That's 1-800-548-2848. And you'll never fear going into your garage again.
And now, a message from the American Migraine Foundation.
It's an absolute nightmare. I was terrified. It was like your head's going to explode.
Migraine is a disabling disease.
Just all of a sudden couldn't see.
Migraine has ruined my life.
Absolutely terrifying.
There's pain that does not stop.
It's a throbbing, pulsing, banging, hammering feeling in your head.
36 million Americans suffer.
I started getting migraines around 5 years old.
Just takes over everything.
I feel trapped by migraine.
It hurts like my head's gonna fall off.
And the whole world around you stops.
My world has gotten small.
You feel like the world's closing in on you. There's nothing you can do.
I had spent a year housebound. It's like you're trapped in your head. There's no escaping it. You can't leave your body.
Don't suffer alone. Make your move against migraine. Visit AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to find help, learn more, and get connected.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The human voice. It can be sweet as music, powerful as thunder,
And so, my fellow Americans,
cheerful as laughter. But for millions of people, it can also be a sign of COPD. This serious lung disease can make it so hard to breathe, you often can't catch a breath or finish a sentence, let alone carry a tune. And many who have COPD don't even know it. That's where your voice comes in. If you think you or a loved one have symptoms, talk with a healthcare provider. Early diagnosis can mean better treatments and quality of life. Join us in raising our voices for the millions with COPD who can't. Learn more, breathe better at NIH.gov.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals, because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
You want to know what time it is? It's time to bring the rain.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Welcome back. Hour number 3 here on the Rod Eccles Show. The fastest 3 hours on Internet Talk Radio is right here on this program, powered by Zinc Media Arts. Here it is, September number 26 in the year of our Lord 2017. Welcome back to all of you liberty lovers, ecclesiastites all around the globe, as well as you liberals that are out there listening. I know that you are, even though you don't really stand for liberty. We got to come up with giving more thought to it, I fully believe that people on the right should stop calling liberals liberals. Well, we got to come up with they're not progressives either. I'm just going to call them what they are. They're regressive. They're regressives. They don't stand for liberty. They don't stand for progress. Actually, they hate progress. I mean, look at the environmentalist wacko groups. They hate progress. Unless it's the kind of progress that they can approve of. They don't like the truth. Going all the way, back when we had nothing but monarchs and emperors and potentates and all that kind of stuff. And that's what they want to regress back to. Is the good old days when there wasn't human freedom. There wasn't much of it. In the days since between, they call it the Dark Ages for a reason, Not because the lights went out, because they didn't have electricity, as far as we know. They want to regress back to that time frame. So we just call them regressives and just be done with it. Stop, because they're not liberal because they're not for liberty and freedom. They're not progressive because they're not for progressing mankind and civilization forward into the future. They want to just take us all back to a time frame of the Dark Ages. So just call us regressive. They want to go back to whatever they say, that they agree should be in power, whatever those people in power say should go. That's the same as a monarchy or a dictatorship. Doesn't matter. That's a regressive. Anyway, call-in number, the Hot Rod line, is 603-835-3226. And for those of you who listened to this show yesterday, no, I'm still not a NASCAR fan because I don't know anything about NASCAR really, other than they go really fast around the track. But although and now, well, now that they've booted one of the races, that we used to have two races at NASCAR championship quality races here in New Hampshire every year, two in my little state. I know, but the September race is moving to Las Vegas, and they're moving to Las Vegas because certain New Hampshire communities that involve the racetrack and around the racetrack, they wouldn't do certain things for the track. So the track said, fine, we'll just move it. And now some of those towns are like, well, all that money's going to be leaving. Well, you should have thought of that before you told them no to some of their like they wanted a couple of the towns that to widen some of the roadways going to the racetrack. It was going to be expensive, but you know what? It would have made economic sense for the communities involved if they did that. But they refused to do it. They wanted the racetrack to pay for all of it, or like 90% of it. The racetrack said, no, we'll kick in some, but not that much. And they just said, well, fine. If you're not going to do that, then you guys are complaining about traffic every time we have a race. We're just going to pull the race. And they did. And now the towns are complaining. Well, that's what you get. Anyway, let's get back to Kevin, who's still patiently on the line after the long break. Now, you wanted me to comment on the NFL stuff. Oh, you missed my diatribe yesterday then about the NFL.
Yes, I did. I wasn't able to listen in. I was at work. but yes, as like I was saying, as a veteran still serving in the National Guard, I find it offensive, because so many people, I'm going to say something very cliche here, but so many of my fellow soldiers have died for that flag, have died for the honor of standing and saying the pledge and standing for the national anthem. I mean, just the name itself implies it is our national anthem, whether you like it or not. Now, taking a knee and having your little hissy fit protest, well, what is that really accomplishing? If you want to, you feel offended by what Trump said, which he was correct in what he said, then aim your comments or aim your protest directly at Trump. Don't use this shotgun approach and offending everybody. They're so worried about offending others. What about us, veterans, who are, a protected class?
Well, there are classes of people, groups of people in this country that it is quite all right, and and if you're a member of this group, you should expect to be offended because, after all, you've been privileged for far too long. So, basically, that means those who are veterans, doesn't matter if you're what your ethnic background is on a veteran. If you're a if you served in the military, you're part of the problem. You're not a part of the solution. You're part of the problem. So you can be offended. You can be shortchanged. If you're a white male, you can be offended. You can be shortchanged. You can be beat upon, spat upon. So there are groups in this country that are looked upon by the left as being offendable, and then there are the protected groups which are non-offendable, which is really hilarious because it means that the left is very hypocritical in their stance because they're supposed to be, for everybody's rights, and everybody should live the way they want to live and do whatever feels good, right? So if it feels good to you to serve your country, that's a bad thing. But if it feels good to you to take a knee that offends everybody simply because the president said that you're a jerk for taking a knee and offending everybody in the country, that doesn't make any sense. That's so hypocritical.
Incredible double standard. You nailed it. The president of the NFL, and let me put this right out front. I am not a sports fan. I enjoy the intellectual pursuits rather than sports. However, the president of the NFL, you're not allowed to memorialize fallen officers. You're not allowed to memorialize 9/11. You're not, and remember this, Rod, you're not allowed to memorialize breast cancer.
No, they wouldn't allow that either. I remember, yeah. And anybody who did either got fined or could have been fired and booted out of the NFL. And now I guess it's okay to to offend the flag and the nation that makes all these people very wealthy in the NFL.
Yeah, and he points to their contract. This is in your contract. You will wear this uniform the way we issue it. Kind of like the military. But then he's going to turn around. What about the NFL's contract with the American people? That all your job is to go out there, throw a football around, and provide the American people entertainment. That's it. I don't need your political opinions. That's not why we're watching.
No, and I got a story here about the left politicizing everything, including our look. Remember a time when sports used to be highly national? No, I wouldn't say nationalistic, but patriotic. There's no crying in baseball. Baseball was it. And there was a time in not that long ago, when football was the nation's pastime, and it was very patriotic to participate in football. The Super Bowl was a patriotic event. Now it's been bent to some sort of liberalistic, regressive type of party, and I just can't be a part of it anymore. I cannot understand. I mean, the media is out there now blaming Trump for this. Because, before it was only like 5 or 6 players were taking a knee in the national anthem. First of all, Mr. Lamestream Media, it was more than 5 or 6. It was more than a half dozen players that were taking knees. But let's just say that was the case. And then Trump said, well, yeah, then he was really being poignant and pointed when he said, fire the bastard. He meant those 6 people that kneeled, that basically did not honor the certain parts of their contract, which would allow them to be fired. And so he says something that's true and accurate anywhere else in the country, in any other corporate business, any other business situation, and the NFL is a business. And now they want to say, well, we're just going to take a knee just to spite him because this is the guy that, if Barack Obama said that, do you think that they'd be all these people would be taking a knee to spite Barack Obama? Hell no. This is anti-Trump, plain and simple. And because they're being anti-Trump, they're being anti-American because Americans voted for this guy.
Well, let's take it a step further, Rod. There was one player that had I'm going to say it, balls. And he had earned the right to stand up as a military veteran, and he stood at the tunnel and put his hand over his heart. And boy, did he pay for it later.
Yeah.
The coach's comments. I expected 100% participation in the taking of the knee.
That's not freedom, by the way.
Is that not an intimidation? No. You said it. You said it right after the break. They are not liberals because I have never felt more restrained in my life. They are not progressive because I don't see a future in any of this. In fact, I feel like we're back in the late 60s, early 70s, where everybody is intimidating each other into participating in this bull crap.
Yeah, I have to. Well, everybody knows that listens to this program knows that the Pittsburgh Steelers are my favorite football team, and they have been since the 70s when the old Steel Curtain and Terry Bradshaw helmed the Steelers. And I'm ashamed of them today. I am ashamed. I have turned my back on them, on the coachings, on the Rooney family. Their dad, Art Rooney, is rolling over in his grave over this. There's no way in hell he would have allowed this type of thing to happen, especially coming from his coach. Now, the coach would have been fired. I mean, I wonder what Bill Cowher thinks about this, or Noel. Although I think Noel passed away of cancer, didn't he? But anyway, none of this would have happened back in the day. It would not have been allowed. In fact, no. I'm surprised that the coach even took to task the how do you pronounce his name? Villanueva?
Villanueva.
Yeah. He's huge. You ever see him? Some of the pictures in his military garb with his military comrades. He's huge, man. I don't even know how he even made it through because he's so the Green Beret training because he's so large. He's a massive man. He's intimidating. But more power. That just gives me more respect for that guy because he took that huge frame through all of that training, and it's not easy.
Yeah,
he deserved it.
Yes. That is his moment in his soul. Leave him alone. Just because he doesn't want to go along with your crap, leave him alone. Are we not all about freedom and respecting others, feelings and wishes? Leave him the hell alone. But one more quick comment, and then I'm going to jump off here. Let's make a comparison to my employment. I work for the sheriff's department in corrections as a lieutenant. What would the repercussions be if I've got two inmates in a dorm attempting to kill each other? I walk in there and I take a knee, and because I simply believe that one of the inmates deserves it.
Yeah. That's not a lot. Well, that's different. No, not really. It's not different. It's the same thing. If you have any, you're telling me on the NFL side that it's in your soul. Your ultimate conviction is what you believe is why you took the knee. Well, what if it's in your soul and your ultimate conviction not to protect a particular inmate because you thought he's a what happens if what's his Wiener gets into jail? And a guard says, well, because you sexted a 15-year-old, and it is my conviction that you don't mess sexually with anybody under the age of 18, and you did, you don't deserve to live. So he's going to take a knee when anybody approaches him and tries to attack Wiener? No, that's not the way it works. Sorry, you can't do that.
It's my protest. It's my form of protest. You can't say anything about it. And in fact, I expect 100% participation from all the other officers.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that going over well, but it's
oh yeah, that'll go over like a fart in church. But that's my comparison. But well, Rod, I'm not going to monopolize your whole show, but thank you for allowing me to rant today.
No, always good to hear from you, Kevin. Thank you so much for your call.
We'll talk to you soon, Rod.
Take care. Hey, look, he made an awesome point. Anybody could take. I guess anybody could take a proverbial knee now, right? Because hey, I don't believe the way you believe, so I don't have to stand up for you. I can sit down and take a knee and just call it a day, right? And I can expect everybody else to follow my lead, or be forced to apologize later.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
Yes, love hurts. It can hurt emotionally, but more important, it can also hurt you physically. It can hurt you in a way which nobody who owns a hot tub and lives in California can afford to be unaware of. Yes, I'm talking about California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. This painful, incurable disease can make an enjoyable soak in a hot tub with family, friends, and dog into a literally unforgettable experience. If you catch California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, not only will you walk around feeling like you're about to pass a twisted sardine can lid, you'll also smell like a pile of burning tractor tires. So don't jump out of the frying pan and into the hot tub, because if you get California hot tub rectal gonorrhea, it'll really burn your ass.
This has been a public service message brought to you by the Citizens Against CHTRG Foundation. California hot tub rectal gonorrhea. We're not going to take it sitting down.
Righty-dighty, welcome back. It is time for the holidays for today, for September number 26 in the year of our Lord 2017. Well, these are not just for this year, but for every September 26, I do believe. So today is European Day of Languages. Yeah, I know different languages. I know. Languages, and Europeans, and you know, some of them think that their language is best, like the French. But anyway, so today is European Day of Languages. Today is also National Better Breakfast Day. It's good that today is National Better Breakfast Day, because today is also National Pancake Day, which is also known as Lumberjack Day. Yes, Lumberjack Day is also known as Eat Like a Lumberjack Day, National Pancake Day, and Talk Like a Lumberjack Day. So Lumberjack Day is all-encompassing. You can talk like a lumberjack, dress like a lumberjack, eat like a lumberjack. And, of course, if you're going to be eating like a lumberjack, you've got to think about flapjacks. And flapjacks, the other name for flapjacks is pancakes or hotcakes. So today is National Pancake Day, and it sort of reminded me of a place. It's called the Foothills Restaurant in Warner, Warner, New Hampshire. Now, where's Warner? Is just it's about northeast of the Greater Concord area. Up, you can get there via Route 89 and Route 3. But they have these I haven't had them yet, but they look absolutely delicious. I'm going to, this weekend, I'm probably going to get one. They have these absolute giant 2-pound cinnamon rolls. Yeah, they're 2 pounds. 2 pounds of ooey gooey dough and cinnamon and sugar and butter and yum. I mean, yeah, it's enough for 4 people, I'm sure. You're not going to sit down, but they actually give away a prize to anybody who can eat one within 30 minutes. Yeah, I'm not going to take them up to I don't do any of those eating challenges. But that's what the Flapjack Day reminds me of. It's appropriate. It's Johnny Appleseed Day. It celebrates a famous apple tree planter whose real name was John Chapman. Yes, he really did exist. He's not a myth or legend. He's a real person that did plant apple trees all over the place. It is National Compliance Officer Day. Hey, after all, these compliance people, they've got to justify their jobs. It is also National Dumpling Day. So today is a good day to get some dumplings along. If you haven't, you missed the pancake. Pancakes are for breakfast. It's Dumpling Day. It's also National Voter Registration Day. Yeah, go figure that one. It's the voter motor laws or motor voter laws. So National Voter Registration Day. But by the same token, it's kind of funny that it's also World Contraception Day. Yeah, put those two together. I can't make this stuff up, folks. It's also Shamu the Whale Day. So Shamu Shamu has his own day. Yeah, wait, didn't Shamu the whale die? Is there more than one Shamu? I don't know everything. I never claim to know everything. And sometimes I just don't even pay attention to some of this stuff that's out there simply because it doesn't interest me. No, Shamu the whale does not interest me, so I don't know if Shamu is still... They freed Shamu or something. Either Shamu died or Shamu got loose or Shamu got freed or... Free the whales, right? So Shamu's... Anyway, it's Shamu the Whale Day today. It's also National Situational Awareness Day. Yeah. Well, everybody has their head down in their phones nowadays, so they don't know what the hell is going on around them. That's for sure. So pay attention to what's going on around you. National Situational Day is today.
You might be surprised to learn who has Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. Nearly 1 in 200 Americans are suffering with a debilitating pain and constant disruption of these inflammatory bowel diseases, or IBD. Chances are you know someone with IBD. For example, your neighbor or coworker. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation was created to help patients cope and to find a cure. People with IBD can't wait. Won't you help someone you know? Visit www.escapethestall.com today.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. But most people don't know they are infected. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you can still have hepatitis C, a serious liver disease that often has no symptoms. In fact, people can live with hepatitis C for decades without feeling or looking sick. But over time, hepatitis C can cause serious health problems, including liver damage, liver failure, or even liver cancer. Getting tested is the only way to know if you're infected with hepatitis C. That's why the CDC recommends everyone born from 1945 to 1965 get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments are available that can cure this disease. So talk to your doctor about getting tested. It could save your life. A message from the CDC.
Everyone is talking about healthcare these days. America spends twice that of other developed countries on our healthcare system, yet our health ranks near the bottom. How can we stop spending so much and getting so little? Shifting to a system based on primary care can help fix the problem. Patients with a primary care doctor live longer, healthier lives and are less likely to suffer from cancer, heart disease, or stroke. Primary care that is comprehensive and coordinated also saves money. Patients who have a primary care doctor spend 30% less on health care than patients who don't. States with a high number of primary care doctors have lower health care costs and higher quality care. Primary care can help make America healthy again. To learn more about the benefits of primary care, visit www.healthisprimary.org. This message is brought to you by America's Family Physicians.
It's been called shell shock, war neurosis, and battle fatigue. Today, we call it post-traumatic stress disorder, and it affects 1 out of every 5 warriors returning from battle in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Wounded Warrior Project offers comfort and support for warriors with PTSD and all other scars of war, whether those scars are visible or hidden. Find out how to help, because for warriors, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. Please visit woundedwarriorproject.org.
The Amazon's rainforest is being cut down so fast that by 2030, 55% of it could be completely wiped out. The Earth's forests can't speak up when they need help, but we can. Be the voice for those who have no voice. Visit worldwildlife.org.
There's a threat targeting America. One that's growing fast, but may still be hard to see. Lyme disease. Spread by tiny ticks, often smaller than the head of a pin. This dangerous disease is now more widespread than West Nile, tuberculosis, and HIV/AIDS combined. And if left untreated, it can lead to arthritis, facial paralysis, and even memory and concentration problems, often called brain fog. As the threat of Lyme disease grows to more than 300,000 projected cases each year, it's time for us to target Lyme disease. That means checking for ticks when you've been outside, even in your own backyard. It means seeing a doctor if you experience the symptoms of Lyme disease, which can include joint pain, flu-like symptoms, fever, fatigue, or sometimes a bullseye-shaped rash. Set your sights on stopping Lyme. Learn how you can target Lyme disease at targetlyme.org.
Dad, we need to talk.
Can we just enjoy the drive?
If you're not going to listen to me, Who we listen to?
Jeffrey. Marcia Gay Harden, what?
Eyes on the road, Dad.
What are you doing? What are you doing in my back seat? How did you get in here?
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain's changing. It's natural.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age and helping to reduce some of the risks to your brain.
Really? Now that's interesting.
So, you'll talk to her about this, but not me. Marcia Gay Harden? Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov. She didn't say goodbye? I mean, I would have. Visit brainhealth.gov.
Welcome back. Glad that you are here and paying attention. I don't. It's Shamu the Whale Day, and I don't know much about. I know that didn't we stop whale shows? I think killer whale shows. I don't know if we stopped dolphin shows. And just in the USA, in the USA territory. That doesn't mean the rest of the world did it. I don't know if. Well, it's a soundbite. There are people in the chat room over on the Spreaker chat room that are complaining about how a stupid movie basically freed the killer whale Shamu, and did a lot of damage to SeaWorld. And SeaWorld is known for being very good to marine life and saving them and studying them. And we learned a lot about sea life because of SeaWorld, and now SeaWorld has had a lot of its income cut off because liberals, it's all about sound bites. Yes, Free Willy was a movie that probably did end SeaWorld. That was a propaganda movie. Did anybody see? I did not see I saw parts of Free Willy when it was on HBO. I just thought it was a boring movie. It was terrible, and I could tell it was propaganda way back then. But anyway, let's head to the phones. We have a caller patiently waiting on the line. We have 817. You're live on the Rod Eccles Show. Good morning. Welcome. Sure thing. What you got?
Talking about this, how this whole movement started by Colin Kaepernick. My goodness, man, it's driving me nuts because I'm not a sports fan. I think the only sports I do like is UFC. But I'm tired of hearing all these sports fans complaining about the whole kneeling thing. I don't stand for it. I think it's stupid. And you know what I tell everybody? Then stop watching it. If you're tired of seeing it, then stop watching it, because all you're doing is you're enabling it. And it's never going to go away until everybody stops watching it, stops going to the football games. And it'll eventually go away because they're all going to go into debt because nobody's buying the tickets, and the players are going to be getting thrown out left and right because they can't afford them anymore.
Well, I think what you're saying is already starting to happen. In fact, there was just a story over the weekend about how the NFL, if the numbers, viewers, and tickets keep dropping the way they are, I mean, they're way down versus last year.
9%. 9%. That's a lot. That's a lot of Americans.
Huge drop, and they're worried about that if it keeps dropping, that the NFL may have to pay back millions of dollars in ad revenue it's heading in that direction. So you're right. People they're starting to actually say, well, I don't want to watch this anymore. And I think we're starting to see a lot of people saying that they're They're being fed up. This is happening with Hollywood too. Movie revenue this past summer is the lowest it's been in like nearly 30 years. And this is even after they've raised the average ticket price is what doubled what it was almost 30 years ago. So they're not even selling the number. If you want to talk about the number of tickets, Hollywood movies this summer were selling ticket wise, not just dollar value, is down a lot. More than 30%. That's a huge decrease. So I think people really are starting
Shia LaBeouf.
They're starting to say, we're not paying for this crap anymore. You keep doing it. But the left doesn't get it. They still think that everybody loves it's this whole self in the bubble type of thing. They think everybody loves them. They think that if you're one of the fans that burned your jersey, you're just a one-off, when the vast majority still love us and worship us, and that's not the case. They're missing the whole point. And I think by the time that they do realize it, it might be too late for many of them.
You're right about that. I think it's going to be too late for them too, because right now they're still trying to shove propaganda into music and movies and TV shows and sports, and CNN is getting ESPN is getting really ridiculous. Like I said, I don't watch it, but I hear it from my father-in-law, all my in-laws, my friends. I see clips on YouTube when I'm watching YouTube. It's ridiculous. And if I want to, it should be like this. If I want to watch, I listen to politics basically 24/7, but I like to break away from politics every now and then and watch a movie. Man, I hate trying to break away from politics and now I'm watching a movie or a TV show and it has politics in it that's against our president or against Republicans or conservatives. I'm just like, oh my goodness, I can't get away from it.
No, you can't, because a beautiful segue that makes me look absolutely fantastic. Have it right here in my cigar nicotine-stained fingers. Actual lamestream media report on the politicization of everything. That's right. Here it is. If you've noticed that politics is in just about everything today, if you think that's what's well, you're right. It is. It is in just about everything. If you can't seem to get away from politics, it's because you've got the left who is putting politics into everything, from movies and TV shows to sports. You can't get away from it because they're politicizing everything. Because if you're not on their side, everything that they don't agree with is a slight against them. So if you're a football player that doesn't, if you're the Pittsburgh Steeler that stands out there in the team tunnel because you're a Green Beret and you served in Afghanistan and you stand there for the national anthem with your hand over your heart, now you're the problem. I expect 100% participation on this team. You're the problem now. You've just been politicized. You're trying to say, well, you know what? I'm not politicizing anything. I'm just standing here giving respect to my country. I fought for this country. And now you've been politicized. So they're politicizing everything in this. And they're, well, of course, they're blaming Trump for that. But they already started doing that. I mean, you got the Emmys. Nobody watches the Emmys anymore. And it's gotten to the point where they claim they don't even care if anybody watches the Emmys because it's all about them anyway. So they politicize the Emmys. They politicize the Oscars. You can't even watch the Emmys or the Oscars or the Grammys without them giving a political speech or 2 or 15 up on that stage. Every time somebody wins an award. Yeah, hey, Trump, screw you. I won this without you, man. Everything's politicized.
Yeah, it's just getting to where, that everybody's starting to see it. And it's like you were saying, it's going to backfire on them. It's going to take a while, but it's going to backfire on them. And it'll be an eye-opener for all these political minorities of people that just worship, big government, and also that worship the Democrats' plans. So, yeah. But I appreciate it, Ron. You take care, brother.
Thank you very much for your call. I appreciate it. Have a good one. I'm also told, by the way, you should look up a person by the name of Nick Lentz, Lentz, if you're into ultimate fighting stuff, UFC. I don't NIK Nick Lentz. If I've watched some of that stuff. I'm not a huge fan of ultimate fighting. That's just brutal. I don't know why anybody would want to participate in that. I mean, you literally are getting what beat out of you every time you step in the ring, or you could. Which is why I didn't follow this. I didn't follow this Irish blood. Irish blood. Yeah.
McGregor.
I didn't follow the Mayweather what's his name fight because they hamstrung the UFC guy. I mean, he couldn't use his legs, he couldn't grapple, wrestle, ground and pound type of thing, and he had to stand up. He wasn't going to be able to stand in there and go pound for pound with Mayweather. I mean, that's boxing. The UFC guy is not a boxer. He's a brawler. And if you could now, what I'd like to see is Mayweather try to brawl. He would have got his ass beat.
That's a fight. That's a fight. That would have been a great fight. I would have paid for that one. I didn't pay for the other one. I just waited till somebody posted it on Facebook, or Cody wasn't really working, so I couldn't stream it on Cody. Hey, that's another thing too. Cody has also cut out a lot of movies, TV shows, and a lot of the cable companies and are really been complaining about because their prices have been dropping because of Cody. And right now, if you decide to get it and you're in England, don't get it because you're going to get arrested. And they're giving 2 to 10 years for people that have Cody in England.
They have what?
Just a little. Yeah, it's piracy.
Oh, good grief. Okay, well, there you go. Yeah, nothing is free anymore, especially when it interferes with liberalism. If it interferes with conservatism, fine, that'll you can get away with that. But you interfere with liberalism, we're gonna throw you in jail.
I know, right? All right, you take it easy, Ron.
All right, thank you for the call. Bye bye. It's not liberalism. It's not liberal. It's regressivism. Plain and simple. You can't. If you do anything outside of what they want you to do, I can't tell you how many times I get blasted for being off the reservation. How can you be a conservative black man? Don't you know? Yeah, I do know. That's why I'm a conservative. I'm not a Democratic liberal. Because I do know. And then when you actually bring up facts to people who are trying to argue with why you're a black conservative, then they just say, "Well, you're a wannabe." Really, a wannabe what? A wannabe free man? Yeah, I want to be a free man. That's why I support constitutional conservatism. Because you Democrats don't support that. You know, one of your mouthpieces famously said it. You know, break these chains. They're going to put y'all back in chains. Remember when Joe Biden said that? That's because that's what the Democrats want to do. Remember, they're still the party of racism. They're still the party of division. They're still the party of slavery. They're still the party of Jim Crow. They're still the party, whether or not they want to admit it, they're still the party of Nazism. They're still the party of the KKK and skinheads. And because I know that is the reason why I will not support them or be a member of them. I like freedom and liberty too much. I like my God in heaven too much, who says that I was born a free person. Hell, if God gave me free will, who are you to take it away? That's the other problem with the movie Assassin's Creed. The wrong people were being portrayed as being freedom fighters. The Moors were being portrayed as freedom fighters. Can you believe that in Assassin's Creed? That's, if it was the other way around, if the assassins were actually a sect of the Knights Templar, the Templar movement, I might have bought the movie, the premise of it. But they were trying to tell me that the Moors were trying to. I knew that right off the beginning of the movie. Within the first 5 minutes, I knew it was wrong and it was off. But that's just me. Look, we've got kneeling going on all over the place now. It's not just on the football field, evidently, and the baseball diamond. We saw that we got a rookie out there who's been striving and dealing, his entire 24 years of existence on the planet with, and so he just couldn't take it anymore. So he took a knee. The baseball catcher rookie. Black Congresswoman kneels during House floor speech, accuses Trump of racism. Yes, Texas Representative Sheila Jackson Lee. Is she going to have to change her name? Andrew Jackson, after all. Stonewall Jackson, that can't, they had to take his statues down. Can't be Stonewall Jackson. And so is she gonna have to? Is it Jackson 5? Should they change their name too? They can't be Jacksons anymore. But Sheila Jackson Lee kneeled during a speech on the House floor Monday as a show of support for NFL players who demonstrated this weekend against President Trump. So wait, they're demonstrating against the president, who represents the vast majority of the American people who don't like the fact that half a dozen NFL players didn't get fired for kneeling and disrespecting the country during the national anthem. Is that what she's supporting? Is that what Sheila Jackson Lee is supporting?
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
What? That'd be perfect right there if I was a rapper. I'd come up, I'd be like, it sounds like something that Ludacris would do, right? Luda! Just start rapping really fast. I can't do that. It's a little bit of a skill in order to be a fast rapper. Well, I mean, I guess if you learn it, it's a learnable skill. It's not something that's natural. It's practice and rehearse. So, You have Sheila Jackson Lee, who's kneeling at. I mean, it's asinine. The picture of her doing this is just completely and totally and utterly asinine. She is trying to give the speech, and she's kneeling at the same time. I don't. And by the way, here's some news. Evidently, Colin Kaepernick's mother has called her son a disgrace to the family. I'm not making that up. That is being. I don't know. Wasn't he adopted? So I don't know if it's his birth mother or if it's his. But I'm not even really interested in finding out. But there is a headline. See, this is the problem with headlines. I probably shouldn't even have said anything because I didn't dig into the story. The headline could actually mean it be totally off. But in any case, 2/3 of here's an ABC News poll, say that 2/3 say large corporations pay too little in federal taxes. This goes, hey, LeBron, you're right. People are ignorant because you still have the majority of people, 58%, say that corporations pay too little in income or corporate income taxes. They actually believe that corporations pay taxes. For some reason, they do not put two and two together and realize that the people, the consumer who buys that company's products and services are the ones who are paying the taxes. So they're paying their own income taxes, plus they're paying corporate income taxes in the form of higher prices for goods and services. I guess LeBron isn't completely wrong. People are ignorant. They're not stupid. Well, I say that people are bordering on just being plain stupid. But they are ignorant about some facts here. And this poll proves that. If you think that if 58% think that corporations pay too little, they don't pay any taxes. You know how many times I've on this program I have proven that. Because the company doesn't have a single dime until they sell you a product or service, until you hand over your hard-earned money to them. They don't pay any taxes. They pay taxes on money that they get from you. Here's another poll here. 58% of Republicans say they support Trump more than the GOP. Only 38% say they oppose. Say the opposite. Say they oppose or support the GOP more than Trump. So another nearly 60% of the people are supporting of Republicans are supporting Trump over the GOP. Hey, you want to get the GOP on your side, McConnell? Or you want to get the Republican voter on the GOP side? Start doing and passing Trump's agenda. Because they obviously want Trump. They don't want you, they want Trump. So go ahead and do that. You might start seeing your numbers go back up. I just don't think they're going to do it. Because no matter what, these people are all out to be against Trump. Plain and simple. They're not going to give Trump anything. They're not going to give him a win. They're not going to give him the satisfaction. You and me, they're not going to give the American people a win. Because it's Trump. Because we chose Trump, and they're having a little hissy fit, throwing a temper tantrum, and they want to take their toys and they want to go home. Problem is that when they go home, they're getting an earful from people like you and me that say you need to do your job and pass the Trump agenda if you're going to be a good Republican. Any case, we are out of time for today, unfortunately, but we will be back here tomorrow in 21 hours. Tomorrow is also Intel Report Day with Agent 0010, so you don't want to miss that. Until then, have a wonderful Tuesday afternoon. Enjoy the weather. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Rod Eccles. I'm out.
Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A shameless politician always plays her cards right. Got a crew for the fight on the airwaves. Lapdogs in the press keep their mouths tight. Cause a Clinton never needs to explain why it is what they done or with who. A real Clinton knows that they're entitled, and you don't get to know what they do.
What difference does it make?
For Clinton, what's loaded in some fat Apple file? A Clinton plays the victim for promotion. A Clinton kills it off with a smile. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. A server full of secrets ain't no thing. Damn, it feels good to be a Clinton. Nothing ever hits with the sting.